Good evening and welcome back to UINDY TV News. I'm Grant Kelly.
And I'm Kennedy Phelps.
During a visit to Israel yesterday, Vice President J.D. Vance said the Gaza ceasefire agreement is going to be, quote, better than expected, and insisted the truce is durable. Vance's visit comes from a series of attacks over the weekend threatening to disturb the nearly 2-week-old truce. Israel carried out a wave of strikes against Hamas after they claimed to be hit by a series of attacks in the southeast region of Gaza. During the briefing, Vance also warned that, quote, if Hamas does not cooperate, it will be obliterated. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the two special U.S. envoys who helped negotiate the ceasefire deal, appeared alongside Vance in a news briefing in South Israel. Vance is expected to meet with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday to start negotiations for a permanent end in the war with Hamas.
A federal appeals court on Monday ruled that President Trump can send National Guard troops into the city of Portland, Oregon. In a 2-1 ruling, the court stated, quote, we concluded that the president lawfully exercised his statutory authority. This comes after District Judge Karen Immergut's ruling to temporarily block the deployment earlier this month. Immergut issued 2 temporary restraining orders, one preventing Trump from using the Oregon National Guard from being sent to Portland, and one to stop any forces from any state. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield also called for a reconsideration by the Ninth Circuit, saying the ruling puts America on a, quote, dangerous path. The ruling gives the president the green light to use only National Guard troops in Oregon to be deployed into Portland.
Amazon Web Services have reportedly been fixed after an outage earlier this week. On Monday morning, several websites across the United States were struggling to stay online as the web service went down. AWS is a major provider of a cloud hostings that much of the internet and everyday online tools rely on. But around 3:11 a.m. Eastern Time, the service went offline. Amazon first reported that they were dealing with an operational issue that affected 14 different services in its center in Northern Virginia. At 10:41 a.m. Eastern Time, Amazon reported, quote, significant API errors and connectivity issues across multiple services. According to DownDirector.com, 6.5 million reports were received regarding more than 1,000 websites or services being offline, including apps like Snapchat, United Airlines, and McDonald's app, and more. Media organizations such as Disney and New York Times, as well as trading apps such as Robinhood, were affected by the outages as well. AWS customers were unable to report the outages because the company's automated support ticketing system also being offline.
President Donald Trump spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky last week in an effort to end the Eastern European nation's 3-year-long war. After a phone call with Putin last Thursday, Trump had announced a summit of the two leaders in Budapest, Hungary in the, quote, coming weeks. However, yesterday it was announced that the planned meeting was put on hold. Trump also met with Zelensky at the White House on Friday. During a tense exchange, Trump called for Ukraine to accept Russian terms and to end the war quickly. This would amount to Ukraine accepting Russian sovereignty over the Russian-occupied Donbas, which Ukraine sees as its own. Trump's latest stance marks a shift away from his pro-Ukraine position in July.
At the Louvre Art Museum in Paris, France, remained closed on Monday after several thieves took several precious jewels from the museum. The heist took place Sunday morning shortly after the museum opened. The thieves entered through a basket lift attached to the outside of the museum, forced open a window, and broke through the glass. The entire action only lasted a matter of minutes, just 270 yards from the famous Mona Lisa painting. The thieves took 9 gemstones and jewelry linked to the Napoleonic era and 19th century French queens. One piece was recovered Sunday outside the museum, and the other 8 remain missing. An expert told CNN that they are unlikely to ever be recovered.
Rodrigo Paz, a little-known centrist candidate, won the presidential election in Bolivia on Sunday. Paz defeated Jorge Tuto Quiroga, a prominent right-wing candidate and a former president. Paz is the son of another former Bolivian president. His victory comes at a time of economic crisis in Bolivia and marks the end of 20 years of left-wing rule. Paz held a series of low-frills campaign events that appealed to working-class voters, contrasting to his wealthier opponent.
The Department of Homeland Security has struck a deal with Gulfstream to provide private jets to Secretary Kristi Noem. The $172 million deal has raised questions from Democrats questioning why she needs to have 2 private jets and where that money has come from. Earlier this year, Nome issued a memo to her staff requiring her approval to spend more than $100,000. The Coast Guard originally requested $50 million to replace a plane Nome is currently using. The secretary has other controversies, such as using taxpayer dollars to pay for a trip to Paris last year when she was governor of South Dakota.
On Saturday, a hunting stand was found within the line of sight of an Air Force One landing zone in Palm Beach, Florida. FBI Director Kash Patel said Southern Boulevard between Congress Avenue and the military trail was shut down for over 24 hours, as officials worked to remove the hunting stand and keep the area secure. Agents came across the hunting stand as they were conducting security preparations for President Donald Trump's arrival. The road was reopened at 5 p.m. on Sunday, hours before Trump took off and returned to the White House.
On Monday, the journal Pediatrics released a study which found peanut allergies have dropped by 43%. This shift comes after a change in 2017 which encouraged early peanut introductions for infants. In 2015, the Learning Early About Peanut Allergy trial found that introducing peanut products in infancy reduced the risk of developing allergies by more than 80%. For years, doctors recommended waiting until age 3 to introduce peanuts and other foods likely to trigger allergies. Peanuts are no longer at the top of the food allergy list, with eggs being first. Jace, we're starting to feel the cold weather here, and what's the rest of the weather looking like for this week?
Man, it is chilly, and fall weather has finally arrived. To the fall weather here on the screen, and man, we are certainly feeling that fall weather here in central Indiana. Currently 54 degrees outside, partly cloudy. Those clouds will continue to fill in, though, as the day progresses. No rain expected, though, until next week. So we look here at the weather map. We see that cold front pushed through yesterday. All that misty rain and winds pushed through yesterday. Winds are dying down, but still pretty hefty out there. And we'll see some cool weather behind this front pushing through right now to lead to some possible frost in the overnight hours tonight. But guys, we'll get into that future cast and look at this weekend. We'll have future cast here in a few minutes' time, but first, some more local news.
News. How much time we got? Okay. Coffee. I love coffee.
We're on the air.
All right. Good evening. I'm Chris Hammer, here to report the news for you. For your campus, local, and national headlines, UINDY TV News has got you covered. Wednesdays at 6.
The roundtable where no topic is off limits. NFL, NBA, MLB, college, you name it, we got it. We don't report on sports, we debate them. From legacy to greatness. From touchdowns to blocks at the rim. You decide who's right. Tune in to the debate at UINDY TV on YouTube every Tuesday at 6 p.m. or on Spotify at First Stop Sports.
Yeah. Okay, guys, seriously, basketball and hockey have got to be the best sports around. Speed, skill, drama, 7-game series, they have got it all.
Nah, baseball is the best sport, and that's just a fact, Jace.
You guys are both wrong. It's 100% football. You guys need to get on the football train.
Everyone stop! Why fight now when you can watch us debate on Grand Slam Sports on YouTube on Fridays at 6 p.m. or on Xfinity Channel 1096.
An investigation is underway after a person was critically injured at a shooting in Indy's West Side Monday morning. According to IMPD, just after 3 a.m., officers were called to 3551 Lafayette Road, which is the address for a strip club called The Pony. When officers arrived on the scene, they located an individual with injuries consistent with a gunshot wound. The victim was transported to a hospital and is in critical condition. IMPD's report on the shooting indicates they identified 2 other suspects, 3 victims, and 2 witnesses. It's unclear if all victims were shot or injured in a different way.
As the federal government shutdown enters its 3rd week, thousands of Hoosiers could soon feel the effects at the dinner table. The United States Department of Agriculture has asked to pause the process of issuing November SNAP benefits. This puts food assistance at risk for about 580,000 Hoosiers, according to the USDA. Advocates warn that the shutdown could disrupt Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program and WIC if it continues into next month. State officials say that WIC will stay funded for now, but SNAP's future is unclear. Food banks are preparing for higher demand, and families are urged to stay calm and reach out to local pantries for help.
Investigators are back at Westfield Farm over the weekend, searching for remains of victims killed decades ago. Hamilton County Coroner Jeff Jellison said teams returned to Fox Hollow Farm on Saturday to search an area after cadaver dogs were alerted during a recent assessment. The farm is where serial killer Herb Baumeister is suspected of allegedly killing dozens of men in the 1990s. Crews found no additional remains during the search, and the investigation will continue.
On Saturday, thousands of Hoosiers packed the lawns and sidewalks of the Indiana State House for another No Kings protest. The demonstration aimed to make a statement on the current state and national policies, including immigration enforcement, redistricting, and impacts of the federal government shutdown. Across the state, more than 40 rallies were held, including cities like Bloomington, South Bend, Fort Wayne, and many others. Nationwide, more than 7 million people joined demonstrations in all 50 states.
Former Colts player Daniel Muir is facing new charges in his child abuse case. Cass County prosecutors added obstruction of justice and battery causing serious injury, both level 5 felonies in the case against Muir. Court's records show he's representing himself. A judge has warned him to stop using AI to write his motions. Investigators say Muir added to, quote, whooping his teenage son who suffered facial fractures. Muir's wife, Kristen, is also charged and may face additional counts. The couple was arrested after a police raid at their Logansport home. Both Muir and his wife are set for trial in February.
Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita lawsuit against Joseph County Sheriff Bill Redmond was recently dismissed. The civil suit was filed back in January. Rokita claimed that Redmond's department created policies to not cooperate with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. St. Joseph Superior Court Judge Jenny Manpure ruled that Rokita has no legal standing in the lawsuit and that Redmond had not implied any of these policies.
Last week, IU announced that the Indiana Daily Student would be stopping its print editions due to the firing of Director of IU Student Media, Jim Rodenbush. In an unexpected move, Purdue University has stocked IU stands with its newspaper, the Purdue Exponent. The front pages of the paper delivered read, "We the student journalists must stand together." The decision to stop print editions at IU has brought up potential censorship issues. IU alum and Shark Tank star Mark Cuban expressed his frustration on X, stating, "Not happy. Censorship isn't the way. I gave the money to IU General Fund for the IDS last year so that they could pay everyone and not run a deficit. The future of this IDS still remains unclear."
On Monday, a full road closure went into effect on Capitol Avenue between 14th and 16th Streets. A new sky bridge is being added to the IU Health Methodist Hospital and will affect traffic in the area. The closure is expected to last through January 7th, 2026. From now until November 17th, southbound traffic will be detoured to Meridian Street. There will be a temporary Indigo bus stop at 14th and Meridian. Construction updates can be found on the IU Health website.
A young Indianapolis Colts fan shared a special moment with a cheerleader on the field during his very first game on Saturday. The child's name is Mark. He is deaf and attends the Indiana School for the Deaf. Him and his mom had sideline passes for the game and knew they were bound to meet some players. Colts cheerleader Morgan McLean brought a smile to Mark's face as a viral social media video shows the two communicating in sign language. McLean minored in ASL in college and has previous experience signing with her professors and family members. According to WTHR, McLean said, quote, "Interacting with any fan on game day is always such a blessing, and this one is definitely one that will stick with me forever."
Thank you, Kennedy. Colts are back in town this weekend. Jace, what's the weather looking like?
Yeah, the weather is going to be hopefully pretty good for the game. A little bit chilly on the chilly side. Looking back at this weather map now, as it pushes out of the way, we'll see this high pressure system move in from the northwest. This will calm the winds down and bring more of a constant weather pattern, at least for the next few days. We'll see the consistent near 60-degree weather, but once again, tomorrow night, 34 degrees is the low. Maybe our first overnight freeze we'll have seen, at least in this fall weather. As we head into Sunday, though, for the Indianapolis Colts, it'll be 60 degrees and cloudy. It'll be a very cloudy weekend all throughout, so the roof maybe not open. We'll have to see here in a few days if they do elect to open that roof. But guys, the Colts taking on the Titans on Sunday, so I'll throw it to Chris and Nate after the break to talk about the Indianapolis Colts.
Good morning, Greyhounds, and welcome back to your Wednesday show. We have some very exciting things to talk about with our very special guest.
So what do you find unique about UIndy, and what kind of pulled you here?
What are you doing?
Watching Good Morning Greyhounds every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
In the heart of Indianapolis, our main mission is to keep you informed, bringing you local and national news. With the upcoming presidential election, there's no better time than now to tune in. But the most important part is you. This is UINDY TV News.
There's no shot. He has time to make that throw. There's no shot. Boom. He gets away from that.
He's that guy, dude. He is that guy. When it comes to football, Mr. Football, right?
Not a chance he escapes the pocket like that, gets out, makes a throw on the run, on the dot. No way.
He's gonna do the same thing to Michigan. Watch it. 10-0 heading into Ohio State. I'm calling it.
You wanna bet?
Let's do it.
I'm Caden Colbert alongside Jay Kelton for college sports, pro sports, everything Indianapolis.
There's often a moment when you're helping somebody with math where they just suddenly get over that little barrier and they get it. It's a nice aha moment, and I really like being involved in helping students achieve that moment, and we do get a lot of those here in the tutoring lab.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count. 5 conference wins for the Greyhounds this season as they cruise to a 62-7 win over the Lincoln Blue Tigers. And it was a great offensive game for the Greyhounds. As you look for this team and you look at Gavin Suka, he only played basically the first half. He threw for 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the guy on the ground leading the way was Garrett Sherrill. 9 carries, 126 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Chris, what are you seeing from this offense?
I'm just seeing what we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks. Total domination over the opponents right now. They're really clicking as a team right now. They really understand the playbook. They understand what they've got to do. And what I love about them is even when they get up big on opponents, it seems like they don't take their foot off the gas. They understand that if you do that, you get into the danger zone sometimes. They are always full force, full throttle, and that's what I just love about this offense right now.
Bouncing right off that, 45-7 was your halftime score. Starters go out at the half, and we see the reserves come in. Well, the reserves didn't just come in. They balled out. 17-0 was the score in that second half between the Lincoln Blue Tigers and the Greyhounds, their second team. As you saw, some great performances from some guys like Jordan Lee, one of the backup corners you got to pick. You saw Alvin Contreras in the first half pick off the quarterback as well. And then you had some great defensive up front. And you got Diego Piche and then Danny Royster getting his name back into the sack. Who is the next challenge on the schedule, Chris, or is there really no one left?
Well, that's what we're going to have to find out right here coming up. I mean, it looks like this team is borderline unstoppable right now. You mentioned it, 5 conference wins in a row. I believe they're up to number 13 in the D2 polls right now. This UIndy Greyhounds team is a force to be reckoned with right now. And if I was an opposing team or an opposing coach, I would not be wanting to walk into Key Stadium so lightly on this team right now.
You talk about the Greyhounds. They are going to have a little bit of a break coming up this next week, but the week after they'll be back on the road taking on Quincy. They're 7-1, and they're looking for that regional performance as they try to finish it out through the conference. We'll move now to what Jace talked about in the Indianapolis Colts. And, offense, and offense. Daniel Jones has been incredible this season. He passed for 288 yards, 2 touchdowns on Sunday's win, 38-24 over the Chargers. And it really just isn't one person. I mean, obviously, Jonathan Taylor's in that MVP category with his 16 carries, 94 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But it's just everyone receiving-wise as well.
Oh, yeah, it totally is. Jonathan Taylor is having an MVP caliber year right now. But Daniel Jones, really other than a couple of hiccups against the Cardinals game a couple of weeks ago, has looked amazing for the Colts right now. He's hitting those short passes. He's hitting those medium passes. He's making his receivers better. He's making everybody on the team better right now. And that's what I love about the Colts right now is this offense seems to be playing collectively as a unit right now. They know what they've got to do. They know that they're constantly being doubted in the media, and they just have that in their mindset, and they go out there and do their job every single week.
And we just saw on your screen, Herbert, I mean, he's been really good this season. He passed for over 420 yards in that game, but the Colts picked him off twice. Big man interception from Grover Stewart, and then Nick Cross coming in with his second pick. Anytime you throw for over 400 yards, usually you're going to be in that win column. That was not the case for the Chargers, as you see the Indianapolis Colts and Jonathan Taylor. You see Tyler Warren get in the end zone. Pittman got in the end zone. It's just a collectively really good team. And, looking at their schedule coming up, biggest test, I think, is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. And can they play with the big dogs?
I believe that's going to be their biggest test, too. This is probably a more vulnerable Kansas City Chiefs team than we've seen in the past, but that's nothing to take away from them. They still have Patrick Mahomes on the team who, in case you haven't noticed, is still really good at football. But let's look at the AFC right now. Something I saw on social media that kind of made me laugh. You look at the top teams in the AFC right now, it's the Colts, Patriots, Steelers are up there, Chargers are up there. It's like it's 2007 again. It's like we got Peyton Manning under center again. This is some insane parity that we're seeing in the AFC right now.
It is something we're seeing that's really incredible. And it seems that when you began the year, you didn't think that they were going to be this good. But the Colts, well, they're 6-1, and they're looking to make it 7-1 as they host the Titans this Sunday. And you look at the Titans, and they're not very good. They fired the head coach. Got a rookie quarterback. Should be another win for the Colts coming Sunday. But, Chris, we got some playoffs, some World Series coming up as well.
We do. The month is October, so I think you know what that means. It is time for the World Series. We have our matchup finally set. It is the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Toronto Blue Jays. You look at the Dodgers coming into this, this is right where they expected to be. They expected to be the class of the MLB. They've got what some would consider an absolute super team on their roster. Players like Shohei Ohtani, who had probably one of the best performances a player could ever have the other week, hitting 3 home runs and striking out 10 people in a single game, which is Babe Ruth level of stats right there. And they've just got constant veterans on that team like Mookie Betts, who have been to the World Series and know what's needed. But the last thing I think the Dodgers expected was the Toronto Blue Jays. I think everybody was surprised about this. The Blue Jays came into the season relatively unknown, but pretty much everybody knows them now. A lot of experts picked them to finish dead last in their divisions, and now they are in the World Series. They've got an absolute superstar over there on first base in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He just signed a massive contract extension this offseason. And they've got veterans like George Springer who have been to the World Series, been to the playoffs, know what it's going to take to get the job done. And I think the overwhelming favorite in the World Series right now is by far the Los Angeles Dodgers. But I think this Blue Jays team matches up really well against the Dodgers. So, Nate, I want to turn to you. What's our predictions for the Fall Classic looking like this year?
Well, when you look at these two teams, and one team's obviously, you look at the sports bets, and everyone's favored on the Dodgers. You know what? They're right. They're completely right. The Dodgers are going to blow the Blue Jays out of the water. I see it in potentially 5 games.
5 games? You think they're going to get done at 5?
Gentleman's sweep?
Gentleman's sweep. The gentleman's sweep. I think it's going to go a little bit more than 5 games, though. I still say give me the Dodgers, but give me the Dodgers in 6. I think this Blue Jays team does match up pretty well. If they can have some good pitching, they'll have a shot. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is usually good for a couple home runs a game. But still, I think we're going to have to go with the Dodgers in 6.
Yeah, we both picked Dodgers, but Chris, what even is a Dodger?
Who knows?
Who knows? But you know what? Who has an incredible mascot, a live mascot? That is Grady the Greyhound. Kennedy, can you tell us a little more about the new Greyhound?
Well, thank you, Chris and Nate, for those sports updates. Moving on to entertainment, meet the new hound in town. Last week, UIndy's new live mascot made his debut. Here's reporter Evan Porterfield with the story.
The University of Indianapolis is celebrating as they just revealed their newest mascot, Crimson Grayson Veritas, otherwise known as Grady II, earlier today at the Switzer Student Center. Cheers, laughter, and plenty of cuteness filled the Shreve atrium as Grady II made his big debut. The University of Indianapolis officially introduced its new live mascot today, carrying on a beloved program that started back in 2019 with the original Grady.
Today I showed a picture of it was my first day on campus 4 years ago with Grady, and seeing him, rubbing him coming to the events, it's exciting. It makes you want to engage with him. Grady's he's a nice mascot, I'm excited that we have Grayson now, so he's helped me get through some stressful times, when I'm down, seeing him, rubbing him,
Grady II, or Crimson Grayson Veritas II, is following in some big paw prints. The live mascot program began 6 years ago when UIndy adopted Grady as the first university's live mascot in nearly 40 years. 5 years of Grady in 2024. Now with Grady entering semi-retirement, it's time for the new generation of Greyhound pride.
we wanted to kind of replicate the process with Grady I. We worked with Greyhound Pets of America to talk to them about, is there a younger dog coming from a racetrack? We want one that has a really great temperament, similar to Grady II. I truly wish that I could wear a GoPro all the time and see the way that students relax and light up at the same time when Grady walks into a room, or how many times I've heard students say, "Oh, you didn't know how much I needed this today. Like, thank you, Grady." I just think it provides that extra sense of comfort. In a crazy world and crazy times, they're college students, they're busy, and that just provides a sense of home and a welcoming moment for them.
Handler Corin Sigmund helped create the live mascot program in 2019, inspired by the idea of giving retired racing greyhounds a new home and purpose. Now with Grady II joining the pack, the mission continues.
Today we are welcoming Grady II to our campus, and if you know anything about Grady, he is the most joyful person on campus, so we are really excited about bringing our new live mascot to campus. Grady is really the soul of the campus. Every time I think about Grady, the joy he brings is really, I can only translate it into, he is truly the soul of University of Indianapolis. I absolutely adore him.
From homecoming to UINDY Day, you can expect to see plenty of Grady II across the campus, bringing smiles, energy, and school pride wherever he goes. For you,
Thank you, Evan. We are definitely looking forward to seeing the Gradys around campus this year.
Dave's Hot Chicken is celebrating Drake's birthday this week by offering out free sliders. Drake is one of the brand investors, and even though the Toronto rapper's birthday is on October 24th, the chicken chain is celebrating a day early, according to the Indy Star. A free slider will be available through the app on Thursday with no other purchase necessary.
The Jonas Brothers Living the Dream Tour is set to stop by Gainbridge Fieldhouse to celebrate their 20 years of music. On November 2nd, the brothers will bring fans through every chapter of their careers, including Nick Jonas in the administration, Nick Jonas's solo career, Joe Jonas's solo work, and DNCE. The tour will also offer a variety of different VIP packages and experiences. For more information, visit VIPNation.com.
It's that time of the year. The Indy Scream Park has officially opened for the 2025 season. The park features 6 attractions, 7 locations, and includes elective interactive elements, a wide selection of foods and beverages, fire pits, a gift shop, and more. The Scream Park is open nightly through October 31st and on weekends through November 8th. Tickets and fast passes can be purchased through their website at indyscreampark.com. And Kennedy, I don't know about you, but I am going to stay as far away as I possibly can from any type of Scream Park.
I am right there with you, Grant. The Scream Parks are not for me, and frankly, if people want to pay to be scared, that is their prerogative. Personally, not mine, and clearly not yours, because I'm not going to pay to be scared, in my opinion. But anyway, thank you for tuning in to UINDY TV News.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at UINDY-TV to stay up to date on all things sports, news, and entertainment.
As always, have a good night.
And be safe, Indy.